Well, this was our overnight spot right here. Come on. And Lefty's grass area up here. Come on, pup. So Jeff stayed right on the other side of that little median there and put the shopping cart there so nobody would park next to us. And as soon as we're done here, I'm going to run inside and do some grocery shopping. Jeff just took off to go to the auto parts store, so he should be back here shortly. Hi everyone. So at this point here, the plan was to just replace the axle seal again. As I mentioned in the last video, he had replaced it not very long ago, you know, under 1,000 miles ago, and it's leaking again. So, you know, at this point we're thinking that the seal was no good or just didn't get in there right. So Jeff drove over to a auto parts store to get a new seal, and so that was our plan. We were just gonna put this new seal in and get back on the road. It didn't turn out that way. Ooh, quite juicy.
Anything lucky this last time. It didn't get onto my brake shoes.
Yeah, that's good.
Did this time.
Did this time, yeah, for sure. They're soaked. Well, you got brake clean, right? There we go. So this is a Walmart parking lot special right here. Hello.
It's just not enough room underneath here.
Well, at least the Jeep already sits up high enough. Just about. There she goes. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Yeah, it had a lot in there.
Horseshoe clip in there to get right in the right place to fall out.
Well, we got plenty of time, so don't worry about it. One passenger side axle. So right here, if you listen, you'll catch me going, He pulled the axle out. The only axles I've seen in my life were from my old classic cars, like Ford 9-inch rear end. I had those axles out. I used to have old Buicks. I had a Buick Wildcat 63. I've had those axles out and kind of remember what they look like. It's been a lot of years, but I kind of remember. He pulled this axle out and I looked at it and I kind of go, because I'm looking at something that I don't know what I'm seeing, but I didn't go any farther than that because I don't know his axles. I don't know what they're supposed to look like. But let's see if you can pick up on what I go about.
Problem is right there.
Yeah. Shit.
That's what caused it.
No good.
No good.
So how many miles you think are on that?
Not enough. Too many.
Like under 500, right? We did 300 yesterday.
Yeah, probably more than 500 probably.
Not a lot. Not for the failure.
Jeez.
Oh yeah. Bingo. Perfect. Just so you know, that can't be reused. You just bent it.
Damn. Maybe get a core charge out of it.
Core charge? Yeah. How much were they? The ones you got today?
$7.
You got a spare.
Got a spare.
Got a spare.
Got a spare. That's not good. That's not good.
So you can see, I'm still looking at that axle, and it's just not registering what I'm looking at, but something just doesn't look right. And pretty quickly, the both of us tuned in on what is going on with this thing. And here's where the failure is, right here. So here's our problem right here. That groove is not supposed to be there. So it looks like that's right where the roller bearing rides on this axle, which we're thinking is letting the axle kind of float a little bit, which allows it to leak. So not great news, but nothing that can be done right now today, except put a new seal back in it and monitor the level of fluid to make sure it doesn't get low. Gonna have to find him a new axle and a new bearing.
New axle put in there.
Yeah. So hopefully up there in upper Minnesota we can find the parts. But it is factory axle, factory bearing. So it's not like, you know, been swapped out over the years. So that's should be available. Lefty, what are you chewing on? He's just finding everything up in these bushes that he can to chew on. You heard what I just said. You know, at this point we're thinking we're not going to be able to get an axle. The best thing that we can do is put that seal in it. We've got 250 miles to go, and then we can find the parts that we need and get it swapped out. So, you know, thinking that's our only option, we went forward and went ahead and he bought 2 seals when he went to the store in the morning. And so we go ahead and he puts the seal in because we're thinking that's our only option at this point.
Get it this way. Could be worse.
Could be worse. Could be on the side of the highway. Now, I know a lot of you know that I do a lot of fixing on the rig. I do a lot of wrenching. You know, in this case here, you know, Jeff knows his Jeep inside and out. He's had it for many years. Other than handing him tools and emotionally supporting him during this, I didn't do, you know, I helped like position the axle when he was putting it back in, but I didn't do any of the work. He did all the heavy lifting on this. But what I was able to help out with, while he was doing the seal, I started poking around on my phone to see if there was anywhere that we could get an axle, because, you know, we're in Sioux Falls, which is considerably larger than where we were headed up to Halleck, Minnesota. So I spent some time on my phone. I made a couple of phone calls. And what I found was when I called the first 1 or 2 auto parts stores, they didn't even have a listing. Now this is a factory Jeep rear end, so a factory part listing would work. I called O'Reilly's. Actually, I went on the O'Reilly's website and they had a listing. They had 2 different axles listed for his year, 1991 Jeep. So I called them, and the girl that I spoke with, really nice young lady, She brought up the listing for the one that I was seeing on the website. She said they didn't have it in stock, which we weren't surprised about. But she said that they could have it the next morning at 7:30 when they opened. And so I'm talking this over with Jeff while I'm on the phone with them. It was like $194, I think. They had the bearing in stock, and Jeff's like, "Yep, let's do it." And I verified. I told her that we were traveling, we were in the Walmart parking lot, that we really needed to, if they were going to say they were going to have the part, we really needed it to be there. And she confirmed that it would be there when they opened at 7:30. The other thing that I contributed to this was thinking of the loaner tools that they have at the auto parts stores. And we took advantage of that. Boy, did we. So that's how I helped Jeff out on this job. Not with wrenching, but doing the back work, finding the parts, getting them ordered in, and confirming that we can get the loaner tools to do that bearing. Because that was my concern, was getting that bearing out. How are we going to get that bearing out and then get a new bearing in there correctly? Well, O'Reilly's has the tool for that, thank goodness. There's an O'Reilly's about 4 miles from here that said they can have the axle when they open up at 7:30 in the morning. It'll be there, and they've got the bearing in stock. So I told them to go ahead and get them. And so we're going to drive over there in my truck tomorrow morning and pick up the parts, hoping to gosh that they've got the right axle coming. I mean, it showed up listed for this vehicle with a Dana 35, which is correct. We're sitting here, we're staying here, we're not moving until we get those parts tomorrow. So we've got to do the outer bearing and the axle replacement, because that axle was worn pretty bad. So we'll pick up this story in the morning. Good morning, everyone. We're getting ready to ride over to the auto parts store to pick up Jeff's axle and bearing, and we're going to see if they have the loaner tool for the bearing puller and bearing installer. That's a little tool kit. Hopefully they have that on a loaner. I told them that's my only concern, is how we're going to get that bearing out. So they open up at 7:30. The girl said the parts will be there when they open, so we're going to ride over there. It's just like 4 or 5 miles from where we're sitting. So we're going to ride over there and get the parts. It's about 10 past 7 right now. Just drinking a cup of coffee. I already had Lefty out once and talked with Jeff earlier, so we're going to take another stroll around here real quick before we pull out. And, assuming the parts are correct, come back here, get the new bearing put in, get the new axle put in, button it all back up. Shouldn't be a big deal. Let's just hope the parts are right, that they're the correct parts. This is our morning wake up here at the fabulous Walmart. I'm just glad that they let us stay here. We would have been in trouble with Jeff's Jeep if we weren't able to stay here. Come on. Okay, we got success. So here's the new axle. And surprisingly, it came with the bearing, another seal, new studs, and lug nuts. We also have the bearing puller tool. These are loaner kits. We got the bearing puller, the slide hammer, and then the bearing and seal install tool. So these are loaners that we've got to return back there as soon as we're done. So we're golden. We checked the length of the axle against his. Looks identical. So it looks like it's the right stuff. So Walmart has been very kind about not coming out here and bothering us, which is great. Thank you, Mr. Walmart. Installing the wheel studs. There she goes. There she goes. Beautiful. Excellent. Bad bearing, brand new seal.
That is brand new seal.
Yep. Excellent. That was my only concern, but that took care of that. You think that bearing spun in there?
No.
It doesn't look like it.
It didn't.
Come here, left. Supervisor, on the job. Passed inspection.
Get down the road.
Okay, so next this is the bearing and seal installer tool. Hey, left, you're getting wound up here. Come on, back up, back up. Oh, I don't want you on that axle. That won't look good on your white fur. Left, look at the black. Come on, let's go get cleaned up. Get some dinner. Come on. Had a little failure this morning. My notepad. I have two notepads that sit right up here under the laptop, and this one was just laying like that, and it fell in Lefty's water bowl this morning, driving over to get the parts for Jeff's Jeep. Ah! Not very much of a list, but I'm going to transfer it over to this dry page and start over. All of the challenges of living in an ambulance. Getting a wet notepad. Oh yeah, nice and flush.
Okay. Good enough.
Happy with that? Excellent. Bearing installed, seal installed. Time for the axle, right? You got, oh no, I was going to say you got grease to put on the end, but you don't really need to do that because
No, but I got to oil these bearings.
Oh, okay.
Can't just stick them in dry.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So that's the last of the tool usage, right? So these can go back to the store. So great.
Yeah.
3 separate tools, 0 cost. Lube in the roller bearings. Does it feel any different than the other one? Does it? Yeah, there's the culprit right there. That bearing. How many miles are on that bearing?
I'm not sure. Because these were changed about 4 or 5 years ago. When I had that new locker put in. They put all new bearings in it. So, roughly, how many miles? I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot. You got your money's worth. Yeah, so this repair ended up costing the axle with the bearing and the seal and the studs was $198, I think, $194 plus tax. And the labor is cheap, that's for sure. Ready to rock. Look at that. Heck yeah. There, you're famous. Smile.
Okay.
Left. Come on down from there. Come on, jump down. Goofball.
He wants to be up there.
Ultra black.
It's your identification tag?
Yeah.
Well, the cover is on, so now it's time to put the fluid in. So far everything has gone really well.
Very.
It's thick.
Oh, heck yeah.
Gear oil. Real
Like
thick.
molasses.
Look at the shiny new stuff. And yes, he knows that he needs new rear tires. Success. Leave that alone. Well, it's all finished. The wheel's on. So we picked up the parts at 7:40 this morning. Got back here at 8-ish. And 2 hours and 15 minutes later, the job is done. So thankfully, we had those tools available from O'Reilly's, and they were able to get the axle. I called them yesterday, and they were able to have it there when they opened this morning, which, great. So we're going to get back on the road here and take the rest of the drive up to the sugar beet harvest. So thanks everyone for being here and watching this on the road Fix It. Everybody take care, be safe. We'll see y'all again really soon.